I scrolled whole night. I watched phone while having food. I scrolled while working. And any work I did, I paused to check my phone. And I could not resist that. While I was in detox phase for the past 7 days, I realized it is not going to be as easy as I was expecting it to be. If you have not watched my first video where I am explaining 5 social media apps that I use very regularly, you should check that out here or here. Can you be here? Check that out. When I decided to reduce my screen time from 8 hours to 6 hours or reduce more than that, 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, I thought, hey, it's easy. It's just that all I have to do is reduce my screen time from mobile phone to laptop. Obviously, I don't want to use for mobile phone for 6, 7, 8 hours of my day because it's such a waste of time. मुझे तो लगा ये आसान है यार, इतना मुश्किल क्या है? जब भी मोबाइल पकड़ने का मन करे, किताब पकड़ो, किताब पढ़ो, एटलीस्ट ऑडिबल सुन लो, कान पे लगेगा, स्क्रीन टाइम तो होगा ही नहीं उस पे, दिमाग में कुछ अच्छा इन्फॉर्मेशन भी आ जाएगा और यूट्यूब भी प्रीमियम यूज कर रहा हूँ तो आई डोंट नीड टू हैव द स्क्रीन टाइम ओवर देयर. आई जस्ट हैव टू लिसन टू एनी पॉडकास्ट और इंटरव्यूज. दैट इज व्हाट आई वाज प्लानिंग टू डू, बट फॉर मेनी रीजंस नथिंग वर्कड आउट एज आई प्लान्ड. मुझे तो लग रहा था कि मोबाइल अपने हाथ से दूर रखना है और कोई किताब सामने रख देना है और किताब को पढ़ना है, बस उतना ही सिंपल. Every time I resisted using my phone, I realized that it has become an integral part of everything that I do. Wherever I go, whatever I do, phone is always has a presence around me. In the absence of phone, it feels like something empty. Like कुछ तो कमी है. हाथ में phone चाहिए चाहिए. उसके बिना कुछ अधूरा अधूरा सा लग रहा है. But there are a lot of many other instances, not necessarily कि मैं Instagram reel देखने के लिए या waste of time के लिए use कर रहा हूँ. But there are many important things जो मैं मोबाइल के थ्रू ही कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो that's much more efficient way to do it instead of using laptop. Just like checking my work emails or Slack messages or video capturing, ये वाला भी count हो रहा है as in screen time. Or when I edit the videos using my phone to upload it on Instagram stories, when that counts as screen time. So not all of it is a waste of time. जब 2-3 दिन तक ऐसा चलता रहा, then I stopped focusing on avoiding the phone completely. Instead, I started to consciously observe my usage pattern. कब मैं phone पकड़ रहा हूँ, कब यूज कर रहा हूँ, कैसे उठा रहा हूँ, क्यों उठा रहा हूँ, कितने घंटे के लिए उठा रहा हूँ. अब उठा भी लिया तो क्या वो टास्क कंप्लीट करके मैं रख रहा हूँ या उसके आगे भी बैठ के यूज कर रहा हूँ, कितना देर यूज कर रहा हूँ, तो कौन सा ऐप यूज कर रहा हूँ, एंड एट विच डे ऑफ टाइम आई एम यूजिंग दिस फोन, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट आई स्टार्टेड ऑब्जर्व. एंड थ्रू माई ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ दिस पैटर्न्स आई रियलाइज दैट आई स्पेंड मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ऑन माई फोन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. आई यूज माई फोन फॉर अराउंड 1 hour to 1.5 hours every single day for mindless scrolling. Every other time I use my phone, it was something for useful or something productive or something to contact my friend or check my emails. But at the end of the day, after 10 p.m, after my work hour is over, I realize that I use my phone just to entertain myself or scrolling. That is fine, obviously, but 1.5 hours of scrolling on reels does not make sense. Even if you are fine using your phone for 1.5 hours on reels, but watching at the end of the day 10 to 11 or 11 to 12 or 12 to 1, you are spending the last few hours of the day watching the phone, because of which that disrupts your sleep cycle. That happens with me. That has been happening with me for the past 4 months since I am back from Bangalore. Since I'm back from Bangalore, I have been sleeping at 1, 12:30, but in actual my sleep cycle starts at 10 to 10:30. That's when I usually sleep. Before I went to Bangalore, but after coming from Bangalore, that's how my cycle is. All because of the work right now I'm doing. So early in the morning I stick to my work and the routine, but after 10 p.m. when I'm done with everything, I spend time on scrolling. So I wanted to avoid that first thing. And the second is checking my phone to see if there is any DM and end up scrolling for no reason. Even if I'm not picking up the phone to start watching any reel, my focus is ideally on to check my email or Slack messages or any DM from the Instagram messages and all. I start picking my phone for that to check my DM from my friend, but I end up scrolling. That's how this entire apps are designed for. They have understood the psychology behind the human minds. There's a lot of research behind this. So it is very hard to escape from this loop. And the third thing is most of the time, as I explained before, this goes on recording video, uploading stories on Instagram and editing video. So this involves 1.5 hours of my time. So which I think is okay for me because I don't think this is a waste of time, because uploading video on Instagram or stories or editing videos, it actually helps me to learn something in a good way. And because eventually if I take a video on my phone, and it is easy for me to edit in the phone itself instead of transferring it to my laptop and then making the edit and getting it transferred back to the phone and uploading it to Instagram stories. That does not make sense. After all of this, I decided to tackle the situation in a systematic manner. I started to spend my time on the internet browsing how to get rid of this stuff. See, the end goal is not to avoid the phone completely. I cannot do that, and I don't want to do it eventually. I want to scroll Instagram and I want to do all the unnecessary stuff as well in my life. But at the same time, I wanted to be efficient with what I'm doing. I just wanted to use my phone phone in a proper manner. So I started to browse on the internet and went back to some points from the Atomic Habits, the book of James Clear, and some blogs, and asked some few questions to ChatGPT. And these are the 5 steps that I feel is more efficient and is actionable as well. So the first one is screen-free zone. So that simply means that no use of phone on certain locations. For example, dining table. You cannot use your phone on dining table. As simple as that. So that you cannot take your phone to washroom. Yeah, I don't do that, but I know people who does that. Second is social accountability, which I'm doing right now. I'm socially accountable to you. You guys know what has been my pattern last week and this week and how it's gonna be in the future. So I'm socially accountable to you कि आई नो कि यार लोग देख रहे हैं, अरे लोग देख रहे हैं, कोई मुझे याद दिलाएगा, कमेंट में आप याद दिला दो मुझे, ठीक है? आप इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरी में जाके मुझे याद दिला दो डीएम डाल के. कभी भी आपको लग रहा है कि मैं इंस्टाग्राम पे मैं रील डाल रहा हूँ या कुछ आपको लग रहा है कि मैं स्टोरी पे ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड कर रहा हूँ, उस पर डाल दो, डीएम करो, यार भाई तू क्या कर रहा है, अंदर जा, काम कर, याद दिला दो कुछ तो मदद कर लो. And third one is to break tasks into smaller segments. I read about this topic in the book Atomic Habits. It is also called as chunking technique, which focuses on managing your non-screen tasks or activities. So instead of focusing on screen activities, right now you will be focusing on the non-screen activities. So eventually it will reduce your screen activities, right? For instance, if someone wants to read a book, they can set a goal to read just one chapter at a time for 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, or to just read 10 pages every single day. Just break your entire book to small portions. This simply means that so instead of focusing on completing this entire book, just focus on completing this many pages, 10-15 pages a single day. Now you won't be getting overwhelmed by reading such a big book. अरे इसे खत्म करना है, नहीं यार 10 पेज तो पढ़ना है, 5 मिनट तो पढ़ना है, 15 मिनट तो पढ़ना है, बस simple. Now that does not make you overwhelmed, which is more important because this is a long-term system. For instance, if someone wants to read a book, he just don't have to focus on to read the entire book. He can just focus on completing one chapter a day, or to read 10 pages a single day, or to read for 50 minutes or 30 minutes a single day. That's all you have to do it. That's how you build habits. So you have to take baby steps. That's all. The last and the final point of this one is that be mindful of your screen time. I have my iPhone in which it has an inbuilt feature where it shows the screen time, the number of hours that you have spent, and the number of apps that you're using, which apps that you're using, what is the segment of that particular app. So that helps me to be focused. Or every time I take my phone and so I remember on the 3rd or 4th day since then till now, when I take up my phone and at 2 p.m. and I see that I have already done with 3 hours of my using my phone. So that's when I have a target to be within 4 hours. So that's why till the midnight, at least till 12, I try to use my phone for 1 hour or maybe 1.5 hours more. So I ended up using my phone for 4.5 hours per day. So on an average, it is less than 4 hours or near to 4 hours. So that's what has been my weekly average for the last 7 days. So being mindful of your screen time helps you a lot. And for Android users, I'm sure that we guys definitely have some apps which will be showing you the screen time. And I think there is an inbuilt, but no one uses that. So in this 7 days of challenge where I was trying to reduce my phone screen time from 6 hours to 4 hours, 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours, which I was planning for. But 2 hours is not practical. 4 hours is something practical, or reducing it to 3 hours is practical. So I'll be focusing on to reduce it to 3 hours, and I'm okay if I go to 3.5 or 4 hours. We are living in such a way that I have to use. Moreover, I'm a digital marketer. I have to spend my time on social media, understanding different patterns, different features that comes up on Facebook and all. So at the end of the 7 days of this challenge, I realized that I need to build a system to achieve my goal. And I clearly understand the fact that I've been using my smartphone for the past 6 to 7 years, since 2016 or 17. Eventually it has become a habit for me to use the smartphone. It is not possible for me to reduce my screen time to 2 hours overnight, because this is my habit which I've been doing for the past 6 to 7 years. So I need to build a system. And the problem does not end by just deleting Instagram app or to delete my Facebook account. That does not solve the actual problem. For me, I just want to use all these apps, I want to get entertained from this. I want to make use of these apps. But at the same time, I don't want to overspend my lifetime using these phones. I just have a very clear and realistic expectation from this. I just want to build a system which will have a very realistic expectation in this modern world, understanding the demands of this modern world. So as I said, I spend a lot of time in Instagram and LinkedIn. In Instagram to create stories, and I post it over there to share my daily life updates. And LinkedIn I used to post some marketing business related content. So why not you guys go and follow there, and at least I will feel कि चलो टाइम वेस्ट तो नहीं हुआ, यहाँ पे कुछ तो लोगों का फायदा हो रहा है, कुछ तो मजे कर रहे हैं, या कोई देख ही नहीं रहा है, उसका क्या ही फायदा है ना. टू सपोर्ट दैट, जस्ट किडिंग गाइस, टू follow me on Instagram. So if I get enough following over there, I will start creating content on for the reels as well. Alright guys, जाते जाते आप लोग ये भी सुन लो कि किसी महापुरुष ने कहा था कि you do not rise to the level of your goals, instead you fall to the level of your systems. बता सकते हैं किसने कहा था? ये किताब एटॉमिक हैबिट्स में लिखा है, और इसका ऑथर का नाम क्या है? अगर आपको पता है तो इस पे डाल दो. मैंने एक बार वीडियो में कह चुका हूँ, तो आप लोग अगर पता है तो डाल दो कमेंट पे. ऑलराइट गाइस, कैच यू अप नेक्स्ट वीक. बाय बाय.